Just say that first sentence for me in Afrikaans.
Ek is 'n Afrikaan.
Afrikaan.
'n Afrikaan.
Oh, not Afrikaner.
Nee,
different?
'n Afrikaan.
But is that
I'm from Africa.
not from... Okay, what is
I'm not
an
a-
African in Afrikaans?
African is 'n Afrikaan.
And then Afrikaner?
'n Afrikaner is 'n boer.
Okay.
Afrikaan, as he praat in his speech, when he's saying, I'm an African, then he's really saying, in my language, ek is 'n Afrikaan. K-A-A-N, Afrikaan, meaning I'm from Africa.
You are ready, Mr. Fivaz?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
I'm gonna ask the first question. We just shoot like that here, with no introductions.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, I just
You should.
I just shoot. Yeah,
Yeah. I will answer.
not in the form of a proper shooting range.
No, not in the. I think there you will come first. You see, I'm old. I'm getting shaky.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Huh? So
They said
my chances to miss the target
Yeah.
would be 85%.
Where were you trained as a cop?
In Pretoria,
In Pretoria.
I was, it's very interesting to note that Bultfontein in the Free State is not far away from Brandfort, where Winnie was incarcerated. Now, Sonoli, once the Speaker of Parliament,
Yes.
also came from Bultfontein. And he was telling me very interesting stories about Bultfontein. He said, whilst the old special branch focused on Brandfort, because Winnie is from Brandfort, the ANC thought it will be a safe place to meet in Bultfontein. So they always meet in Bultfontein, where I was sort of... it was my hometown. And from there I went to the Free State University, where I studied, and from there I went to the police college here in Pretoria, not far away from Johannesburg, in Pretoria West, where I was trained. So I never worked for any other boss than the police service, straight from university to police service. And I was stationed in 3 cities in my life. And that is extraordinary because normally police officers are going to about 20 destinations when they have a full career. I was in Bultfontein a while as a student constable. Then Bloemfontein, Mangaung, and from there to Cape Town, back to Bloemfontein, and to Pretoria, where
The capital city.
yeah, the capital city, and where police head office is. So I was quite young when they sent me to police head office. I was about 24. At that stage, a young captain. So that's where I started my career in the police service.
Many people might not know of our audiences, the majority of which would have been born in the 90s, that you were the first police commissioner that was appointed by Nelson Mandela in 1995. So maybe we all wonder because a lot of things get said about the security structures at the time. how did it come about that Madiba appointed you? Were you a compromise of the sunset clauses?
I don't think I was a compromise. I think it was clear at that stage that President Mandela had lost faith in the police commissioner of that time, of the South African Police Service, General Jan van der Merwe, because he was also the head of the security branch. And a lot of allegations were made and are still being made, but were made before the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and even before that, against the so-called special branch or what we knew, security police of that time. So I think what really happened, and I'm always joking, is that I was a general, and we had a year-end function at Brinterian, where the presidential house is for Matlambandlo. And there is a sports ground, a clubhouse, and we had this year-end function just after Nelson Mandela was released from prison. And that afternoon we played cricket because I was a fond cricket player, and a number of my people working in the so-called inspectorate of that time of the police service, were enthusiasts about cricket. And I saw when I was batting, that there's this big red Mercedes stopping right at the clubhouse, and a lot of guards are certain people are surrounding the car. And for the very first time in person, I saw Nelson Mandela. He got out of the car and he was talking to the people there. And later on, they brought him up to me. He told me afterwards, he asked, who's the commander? And he said, it's the man with the bat in his hand. And he came up to me and he met me for the first time. And what are you doing here? Asked Mr. Mandela. I said, we are playing cricket. It's our year-end function. Normally we do it here because it's a nice, quiet, open ground, private place. And I made a joke. I said, I thought you are coming to play with us. He said, no, I can't play cricket. But I said, but try it. And I gave him the bat.
Okay.
And I asked one of the guys to give him 2 softballs.
Okay.
The first one he missed. The second one he hit out of the grounds. And I said, but you are a born cricketer. So when
he was a boxer.
Yeah, he was a boxer. So when people ask me, how was you appointed as commissioner? I said I played cricket with Mandela. But in any case, no. Doctor, you know what happened? I was, for a period, on a special advisory board for Sydney Mufamadi. But because that was the transitional period, you can recall there was a transitional government. President Mandela was not appointed yet. We were still awaiting, as a matter of fact, we were still awaiting the elections at that time. But later on, about 6 months, I believe, he approached people to hear from them who should be appointed. Who can he trust to be appointed as the new police commissioner? And he spoke to 2 persons, and later on he confirmed that he also spoke to Sydney Mufamadi. But in any case, initially he spoke to Richard Goldstone. He was a judge. He led the Goldstone Commission. And he spoke to Neil Barnard, who was at that time well known to Mandela because he was at National Intelligence and he visited Mr. Mandela at Robben Island and later on at Victor Verster. So they approached them and they said, but we know about this man, we worked with him, he's a credible person, George Fivaz. And he bounced it with Sydney Mufamadi, and at that time I was on the special advisory committee of Sydney Mufamadi because he became the minister afterwards. So they recommended my name to President Mandela, and towards the end of 94, it was the beginning of December, I got a phone call from Zelda Legrandse. Said, Mr. Mandela wants to see me. At that time, he was now appointed. He was the president. And I saw him, and he said, I've decided, not whether you want to do it or not, he said, I've decided to make you the next commissioner. And I was shocked, out of my shoes. I thought, no, my goodness, there are so many more senior people in front of me. So I was shocked and bewildered to a large extent. And I said to him, very naive, I said, but I'll think about it and I'll let you know on the Monday. He said, no, I think you misunderstand me. I'm not asking you to consider, I'm telling you, I'm going to appoint you. And then I realized, but President Mandela is very serious. And later on, he made the announcement at Matlamandlova. But before that, he asked me to select 4 persons that will act as my deputy commissioners, each from every race group. So I selected the man with the name of Zolisa Lavisa from the old Transkei, Transkeian police, a man with the name of Morgan Shetty. He's an Indian guy. He passed away. Solisa passed away in the interim. Morgan Shetty passed away. And I selected the man with the name of John Manuel. John Manuel was a personal friend of Gregory Rockman that started Pop Crew. Okay. And lastly, it was Whitey with the name of Mike Bester. He was from the South African Police Service all his years. But I selected the people, none of them, including myself, ever worked in the special branch. We never worked with the special branch. We were straightforward, good cops, and we tried to fight crime, and to manage the police properly. So that is how it happened. And I must say, till today, I'm the only commissioner. Fani Masemola, maybe he will complete his term, but none of the people that follow me were holding tight. All of them were either fired or removed from their positions in between.
Yeah.
So it's a sad story in terms of policing in South Africa. So it was sort of, we did a lot of restructuring and rationalization work from the date I was appointed up to the stage where my contract ended. But it was never properly continued in terms of continuation, the one commissioner after the other commissioner after the other commissioner. And maybe to a large extent, we are seeing what is happening in the police service as a result of a lack of continuity. A lot of things are not being done as it could be done. A lot of things are neglected in the police service. I know a lot of police officers are still white and black, and women and men are still fantastic people. They have a desire to be a police officer. That's their occupation, a professional occupation. So it is wrong for people to say the police service is crooked. It can't be true. So that is
Yes.
a little bit of an entree.
I do want, again, this is educational for all of us. When you say you came from the ranks of the police that were not the special branch, some of our audience members may not understand what that means. Maybe just as a way of answering the question of what it is that was immediately a responsibility in terms of restructuring the police in South Africa. If you could describe the state of policing under apartheid.
You see, one of the... He mentioned to me, President Mandela, you don't even need to tell me about it. I know you never served in the security branch. So he found out. I never served in the security branch. I was a straightforward cop. After my basic training, I was trained as a detective, and I served as a detective for quite some time. And later on, I became a member of this inspectorate that was really responsible for efficiency in the police service. So we were going around and we were inspecting police stations. Even at that time, we were not allowed to inspect the security branch or the special branch. They were people on their own, in their own security environment and under their own commander. They were really secluded from the rest of the police service. They had direct contact with the politicians of that time, with the John Fosters and P.W. Botha's and those people. So it was really difficult to explain to people afterwards that we had two police forces. One was the normal police service or force you could have seen with the naked eye. Those people who are detectives and those people who are wearing uniform. And then you had the secret police that worked as a sort of a underground, very secret organization. Now, it seems to be difficult for people to understand that, the ordinary police officer, like myself at that time, never realized really what is going on in this special branch. Because we were never allowed in. Even when I was the head of the inspectorate, we were never allowed into the security branch to go and inspect basic things. They had their own inspectorate. They inspect their own things. They worked out of the police budget because they were members of the police service. They were paid by the police. But their daily operational fees mostly came out of the secret fund.
Is this where Flag Plus would have been
That is where
operated?
Flag Plus started, and a number of other places. They are like... they're not the only people that are doing that. Even today, crime intelligence have safe houses and whatever the case may be from where they are operating special projects. Not crime, but crime, not politics, but crime-related project. So in that time, there were many properties like Flag Plus. Safe houses and whatever, from where the security police worked. They did their own thing on their own basis. So when you ask me, when I took over, what was done in terms of rationalization, So when I took over in 95, the beginning of 95, there were 11 police forces. The physically 11 police forces with their own infrastructure, their own buildings, their own financial administration systems, etc., their own logistical systems. They were separate police, and they were coming out of the TBVC and self-governing territories like the old Transkei, etc. So those 11 had to be amalgamated into one. That was one of my major tasks. To take the 11, to make them one. To dismantle the security police service.
The special branch.
Yeah, to dismantle it. And to do something with it that can serve the purpose of crime fighting. And it's there where we started with the principle of you need a crime intelligence service. So a number of those people from the old security branch were accommodated, on the basis of who wants to be accommodated, who is going to fall in line with the new vision, mission of crime intelligence service. And we started from there, bit by bit, to build it. Now today we hear a lot of things about crime intelligence, corruption and whatever. Crime intelligence was never supposed to be a hornet's nest. It was meant to be a support structure for the police service to do their work properly, to give detectives proper intelligence to work on criminal syndicates, and the same with the uniform police, to know where to patrol and where to open police stations and what to do. So it's good. It's good to have a crime intelligence. You can't write it off. I see a lot of people are saying just close it down. You can't close it down. You must restructure it, and you must get the management right. So what I'm saying is there are a lot of obstacles, maybe in the police service at this very moment, but you can fix it. You just have to do it systematically. We have done it. We have done it in the past. When we took over in 95, we had a mess. A real mess. Of people that were exposed before the Truth and Reconciliation Commission for atrocities and misdoings and whatever. And we fixed it. So I don't think we will sit with the mindset now. We can't do anything about the rotten spots in the police service. And I call it rotten spots. You can fix it. There must just be, and you must listen carefully, there must just be a political will. When I was a commissioner, I had a serious, strong political support from President Mandela and a number of other people. They were supporting me all the way. So that's maybe the difference between doing radical things with political support or trying to do radical things without political support.
Before I come to the present, I do think this first period is interesting. I mean, I have seen several reports of the levels of crime. Essentially, South Africa was coming out of a civil war in the PWV, in the Midlands, Northern KwaZulu-Natal, a lot of political instability, massacres and all of that. And at the center, often the police was in the coal face of such activities. Maybe, Mr. Fivaz, just take us through, with Madiba, under that first term of office as the police commissioner, what would have been the major challenges that the police dealt with?
You see what we...
Outside of restructuring and making a single police force.
Yeah. That is a good question. You see what we realized and what I agreed totally with President Mandela, and he agreed totally with me, is that a police service is most probably the more important mechanism in your state machinery if you want to have a proper democracy. If you think about it, you have a constitution, one of the smartest constitutions in the world. You can test it to any other country. We have a very smart constitution providing for human rights, basic fundamental rights of people. And the constitution is saying two things. The state must protect you and the state must protect your property. In the broadest possible terms. That's what the constitution is saying. And who is responsible to do that? Not the politicians. They can pass the laws and they can debate laws and they can debate all sorts of issues in Parliament. But the fact is the police service is the mechanism on the ground and fundamentally responsible to uphold the Constitution. So we agreed on that, and we said we are going to structure the police service accordingly. So our police officers, we must recruit very neatly. We must know what we recruit psychometrically. It must be people that fits the job. We've done a lot of work, At that time, we developed the public order policing unit. They were riot squads. Public order policing unit based on democratic policing. So, whereas in the past, you were, as a police force, supposed to police a march, now you are supposed to protect the marchers. You see, that's the difference between democracy and the old dispensation. So we started with this public order policing unit by selecting people psychometrically for the job. Mentally, you must be in a position to deal with crowds and the mentality of crowds. Secondly, you must be trained to do that. Thirdly, you must have the equipment to do it, the right equipment. Not lethal ammunition. You must have it as well. But your first round of defense will not be sharp point ammunition to shoot people, to mow them down, like in Venezuela. You don't kill people to get them under control. There are other ways and means you must negotiate. If you think carefully, and you were young at that time, about what happened the first 5 years in South Africa. We never had one single violent march, but we had many marches. So what we did was a well-trained public order policing unit, sitting down with the demonstrators, whoever they are, making certain requirements in writing, signed by both parties, and the marshals of the marchers will be supposed to be taken or take accountability to make sure their people are doing it according to the agreement. So we did a lot of work on the caliber. We did a lot of work on training. We believed, the functional literacy, you'll understand what I mean when I talk functional literacy. It's not the art to read and write, it's the art to do your job properly. That we absolutely focused on. A police officer, wherever she or he serves, they must know what they do. If they are a detective, we must invest in training. But from the very beginning, we must invest in selection and training and continuous training. And we must insist on educated management. I'm not talking about guys with matric, a little bit higher than matric, MBAs and BComs and that type of qualifications. You must be properly educated to manage teams as big as what is happening in the police service. Complicated things. You know, you can't just take people from the street and put them in a uniform and give them a brigadier rank. That is where we flop at this stage. There are too many people without experience in the senior hierarchy of the police service. But the fact is, Doctor, what you have to do in a police service is to realize this is not a bundle of idiots you are dealing with. It's supposed to be smart people because they deal with smart things and they deal with complicated things. Secondly, you have to make sure whoever is doing what job in the police service is properly equipped in terms of training and equipment to do the job. And I think we are falling short there at this stage. So with the help of President Mandela, you know, we really did a lot of investment in bringing out police officers, senior police officers from across the world to come and assist with the training. We were sending out bundles of police officers from South Africa to get trained all over in intelligence, in public order policing, in detective skills, in whatever. So over and above the fact that we put all the 11 things into one, structure, and now you have one logistical system, one financial system, one personnel management structure, one command structure. You know, that was an issue on its own. But whilst we were doing that, transformation was a big issue. It was a big issue. You know, you have to respect the police service have all of what kinds in its service. Women, men, you know, ideologies, religions, and even gays and lesbians. You know, and those people are entitled to be there in terms of our constitution. And you must respect their rights. You know, so it is a difficult and you can say laborious process to take the mindset and to twist it from what it was to what it is supposed to be. You know, sensitive human rights policing. It's not what I'm always seeing when I'm looking around and what I'm reading. A lot of police officers are of the opinion they have authority beyond control. But the fact is, he is supposed to, or she is supposed to always have the Constitution in mind.
I want to ask what happened in this process to all those murderers, the killing squad of the special branch, all those people whose job in the apartheid police was to hunt political activists, torture them, kill them, and all of that, which you described earlier as this family within the police force called the special branch. What happened to all those people? Did they leave? Did they change hearts?
There are a number that served sentences. I'm quite sure you are also reading that a number is still awaiting decisions by the National Director of Public Prosecutions. Investigations have been done. A lot of accusations are being made. The politics of that side, or that time, muffled the prosecutions, whether that is true or not. But what I can tell you, when I was still there, the people that were supposed to be prosecuted were prosecuted. So obviously, if I read, I'm not involved anymore, but if I read, there are still a number of prosecutions. But the people will have to hurry up because most of the people are dead.
Yes.
Yeah, the culprits.
Yes.
Or the so-called accused. I think the easy answer to your question is, a crime is a crime. And you are supposed to be prosecuted for a crime. If you commit a crime, you are supposed to be prosecuted. Now, the state machinery must make provision for that. I still have a private company. I'm not from day to day involved anymore in that, but the people are still working with complaints of the public, coming saying, we had a murder in our family, the police service is doing nothing about it. It's dragging, and it's dragging on now for years. They've stolen this, they've sort of taken over our land, that the police is doing nothing, we're reporting. So the lackadaisicness of some police officers, I'm not saying all of them, because I made the point, they are good police officers. And ethical police officers. But the point is, if we have no prosecutions, then it means two things. The police is not investigating properly. Secondly, the National Director of Prosecutions is not doing their work. If you think about what's going on in terms of capacity and competency, I was listening the other day, not long ago, 3 weeks ago, to testimony that was put before the Malanga Commission, where one of the forensic experts of the police service said, we are sitting with a backlog of 140,000 DNA analysis. We're sitting with something like 6,800 ballistic analysis reports that we just don't have the equipment and we don't have the people to do it. Now, if you think about the consequences of this, there are 140,000 plus 8,000 police dockets lying somewhere that can't go to the court because there is no forensic report in it. So there are a lot of things we have to fix.
Absolutely.
And it's possible.
I want to pursue this line because, Mr. Fivaz, you would remember I have three things in mind, and I want to ask what you did. The first one was the violence in the Midlands, which went on up to 1997, 1998. Even during 1999 elections, there were still worries about a lot of political violence, as it were, in the Midlands in particular. That's the first one I want to ask about. Now, these chaps who used to commit atrocities, I read a book last year about this era of yours, that part of the people who cracked the Boeremag, and I want to hear that story, would have been former special branch members. who went to infiltrate Boeremag and the right. I mean, they all ended in prison, obviously, but I want to hear that story about these chaps that yesterday were chasing political activists, and then today they somehow managed to say, we're going to take instructions from the democratic government, and we're going to infiltrate the people who want this regime to fall apart. That's the second one I wanted to ask you about. I'll remind you, the third one is cash in transit. It's a big thing even today in South Africa.
Yeah.
But you would recall that your cash in transit problem were former MK people. Collins Chauke.
Colin Chauke, yeah. Yeah, he's may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
He is dead. He passed away, Colin. Now we can get there.
Did you know Colin?
Yeah, I met him once.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was my nightmare. You know, at one stage, but we'll get to Colin.
Okay.
If you remind me.
We start with the militants.
Yeah, you see what... if you go back into the history, not many people will still recall the name Leonard Gadu. Leonard was part of this in exile, and he was integrated in the police service.
He was part of MK intelligence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A very smart guy I got to know. And we got along quite nicely, Leonard. Now, Leonard worked with me on a number of things, including Colin Chauke. Because at that time, Leonard was part of crime intelligence. He had a couple of guys from the old security police with him. You know, they served with him for a long time. Now, smart guys that supported him all the way. That is why I'm saying, you know, the mind of the human being is a very, very flexible thing. The one day you can do this, the next day, with the right inspiration, you can do quite the opposite. Okay. So one day Leonard came to me. Leonard saw me quite frequently.
Yes.
I had a lot of confidence in Leonard. He came to me, he said, why are the guys that works with him, and he mentioned the names, two whiteys, senior guys, his two most senior guys that reported to him were two old security branch people, and he trusted them with his life. He said the two guys introduced him to 6 whiteys, 6 white guys that were in the security branch of the police service for all the years. And they are willing to start working in terms of crime intelligence on the Boeremag and the right-winger activities. I said, but Leonard, that's impossible. You know, the people were doing quite the opposite a couple of months ago. Now you are telling me, can we trust? He said, I can vouch for them. I had meetings with them. They are quite willing. They said they are professional cops. They will do what the bosses are telling them to do. If the bosses are expecting him or them to focus on specific crime, they'll do it. And they started to focus. They came and see me at home because I was not comfortable. And for one or other reason, I remained sort of hesitant. But in any case, Leonard reported to me frequently on progress. And he said, no, there's nothing wrong. It's working. It's working. Those people are they are, as a matter of fact, infiltrated. Because they are white, it's white Boeremag. You are not going to infiltrate black people. You have to use white people. Okay. And they were responsible for the first arrests in the Boeremag trials as you know it now. You know, the Tempe break-ins where they stole a lot of firearms from the army. The murdering of 2 soldiers in the process of breaking in. They were caught on site and they killed the 2 people and they threw them into a river. You know, the other activities of the Boeremag. So those people worked till the end of my career. I don't know what happened to them. Very passionately on adversaries of the state. And they were very successful. Unfortunately, as you know, in between Leonard Gardner died in the motor car crash.
Yes.
But they continued to work with the 2 whiteys that I was telling you about that reported to Leonard. Yeah, and I think they are now old. Maybe they are all retired, but they switched from day to night in terms of, I think it was most probably a guilty mind. But it worked.
They wanted to atone.
Yeah. But it worked.
I mean, the Boeremag really wanted to collapse. Their special target was Madiba. I remember one of the instances laid out related to Madiba was supposed to go open a school somewhere in Limpopo. Yeah. And because he felt a bit bad, he took a helicopter instead of driving.
Yeah.
But had he driven, the chaps would they'd set up bombs along the road he was going to pass in and all of that. So the Boeremag was a really serious right-wing group. And you are telling me the special branch members are the ones that neutralized the Boeremag.
And the old special branch men, they were responsible for the cracking of that case. I can tell you now. But you know what? You talked to about they were after Mandela for one reason. For one reason. They knew, those people, if they kill Mandela, the country will burn.
Yes.
They know that the quickest way of starting a revolution in South Africa at that time was to kill Mandela. That is why they were after. You know, we had a lot of life-threatening situations around Mandela. And Mandela was not always playing the game. You know, I spoke to him on a number of occasions. I said, you shouldn't just decide you want to greet that person in the crowd.
You know, just get out of crazy. You're playing cricket with
escorting him in a direction, and then he breaks away and he greets somebody in the crowd. And on many occasions he said to me, but you know, I'm not supposed to be the enemy. I'm supposed to be the popular choice of the nation. I said, that's what you know and that's what I know. The right-wingers don't know that. And they know it, maybe. And they are going to take advantage of that, because if they kill you, I can tell you now, I told him on many occasions, if they kill you, I wouldn't be able to stop the scourge in South Africa. You know, this country will be in flames. And that is what the right-wingers are striving for, is to create a situation of ungovernability. Because
do you think the right wing in that form of Boeremag might still be active in South Africa?
I am quite sure if we look at what's going on all over the world, there must be people. I would be naive. If I'm commissioner of police, I would have always taken that into consideration as a possibility. You know, there are like ISIS and like other extremists, always the potential of forming cells, working against the government, trying to take the order back to the old South Africa. People are sometimes so stupid, it's unbelievable. If you still think that you can overthrow government by means of a revolution, then you must be silly. You must really be silly, because what matters in a situation like that is obviously numbers. You have to have the numbers on your side. You have to have the army on your side. You have to have the police on your side. Now, no right-wing group has the police and the army on their sides. But the fact is they can still do a lot of harm in terms of terrorism, in terms of bomb planting, in terms of creating situations of revolution. So I won't rule it out.
When you hear, for instance, of those campaigns around there being a wide genocide in South Africa, and Trump then repeating it consistently as a form of agitation. I mean, Trump seems to be agitating everyone. If he's not talking about South Africa's white genocide, it's Greenland, it's the Christians in Nigeria, it's Iran, but when you hear that, does it perhaps maybe say there might be people who clandestinely try to collapse the democratic order?
I don't think so. I personally don't think so, because genocide, if you want to look at the real definition of genocide, I'm not talking about now killing culture and killing language, but if you talk genocide in the sense of killing people to sort of eliminate a specific race group, then I think it's simply not true. It's simply not true. I think, in my opinion, cheap journalism and cheap politics. Really, I don't think that is really the idea of these people. I think some people are just talking like some people believe, for instance, that in KZN, for instance, at my time, because I'm a Zulu, I have to be eliminated. And there was a Zulu genocide. They believed it. I had a chat one day with the late king. And he said to me, but the people are trying to remove the Zulu from society. I said, no, I don't think so. I think it's a dangerous way to interpret what's going on. If you have differences in politics, it's not to say there are many Zulus. I told him there are many Zulus that are voting for the ANC, and vice versa. But I think we are still sitting with these phobies of, some of our elements in South Africa are against us and are trying to wipe us out and are trying to overthrow the government. Thinking people just look at the politics. The politics has this nasty way of doing things. It's sorting itself out. As you become unpopular, you'll get less votes. And eventually, let's say it's true that there is a white genocide. What will the end result of that mean? You can kill how many whites, you will remain in the minority. So it's really senseless for anybody to go for that target, to say we will kill the whites. How on earth are you going to kill all the whites or all the blacks? I think it's a matter of cynical arguments people are putting up.
But let's go to the Midlands. How did you strategize as the commissioner at the time to arrest political killings, as they were called?
Midlands was now a sort of his own. There, once again, the police service was heavily involved, and the majority of police officers were pro-Inkatha Freedom Party. So what I did, and you have the authority in the Act. You can close and you can open police stations. So I closed a couple of police stations and I transferred the police officers where the hotspots were. And I put up interim police stations outside the town where people can go and complain if they want to complain, with people that I sent from Pretoria to man the stations. And it was within 6 months we stopped the carnage and the killings of families.
So the police were embedded in the carnage. That's why you had to do that strategy of closing transfers.
Yeah.
Because they were not dealing with the murders.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the police service was in cahoots with people like Sifiso Nkabinde. You can still remember Sifiso Nkabinde was a taxi warlord at KZN, and he was to a large extent responsible for many of those killings. He was killed himself. The man who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. He was killed eventually.
Okay.
But I see it slowly coming back. Yeah, sporadically I am seeing that families are being wiped out. In my years we had the Shoba Shobane. Shoba Shobane was absolutely ugly. It was in the time of Mr. Mbeki. He just took over from Madiba. And it happened that December.
Yes.
And it was pure in political nature, the whole thing. But it was ugly. What I can say, fortunately, we were in a position to put the lid on and to stop the senseless killings. And I got some night rest, because what will happen, what would have happened that time, 3 o'clock in the morning. My telephone will scream, and when I answer, is Madiba. He said, "George, what happened in Melmoth?" I said, "What, Mr. President?" He said, "No, are you not aware that the Ndlobo family has been wiped out?" I said, "No, I'm not. It's the first thing I hear." "Where are you hearing?" He said, "I hear from Becky Kulle." I said, "But instead of phoning me, he's phoning you. Why is he not phoning me?" "But just wait." Then I phoned the provincial commissioner that time of the night. He said, "No, there's not something like that." Then within 30 minutes, he'll come back, he'll say, "Oh my God, it happened."
Yeah.
So Madiba got the message before I got it. So it was an ugly period, but we put it under control to a large extent.
Okay. And the final one is the cash in transit and your favorite.
Yeah, you see what the cash in transit with Colin Chauke was a nightmare. because MK was involved, we knew that. They were highly organized, well-trained, and what we did to stop it to a large extent and to identify the people, it was in the time of Mandela. He was very concerned about it. He said it creates the impression that the government can't manage the country, can't manage crime, because it's happening in broad daylight. So I had a meeting with all the bank bosses. We set up a structure that was in operation for years after, SABRIC. And I seconded a couple of police officers, sharp detectives, to the unit, and the bank seconded. And we start analyzing police dockets properly. Every incident, we did serious research, like artificial intelligence nowadays. So we looked into the personalities, people around. At that time, it wasn't possible really to trace cell phones. But what we could have done, we've done. We listened to conversations, because Nia had that capability at that time. So eventually we identified the syndicates. And we closed down on the syndicates. And the man that was always one step ahead, and I still believe it's because he had insight in the police service. Yeah, because now MK, Colin, and integration of a number of MK people in the police service. So I don't want to mention names, but between Leonard Gadu and myself, we agreed on one specific person that was integrated in the crime intelligence environment, a senior guy from MK that worked with Colin. But eventually we got hold of Colin. But that was not after many sleepless nights. Because Madiba gave me hell on Colin. He was on my neck.
On Colin's show.
Yeah. Colin.
If the chap has passed on, aren't you at liberty to give the name as to who Colin could have been working with from crime intelligence?
The man that I'm talking about is still serving. So I don't want to mention the name, but he had his inside information like that.
Like Matlai.
Yeah. You see, Colin also had a couple of people in his pocket. Like that.
Yeah. These chaps that are in charge of the police now, did you work with any of them? Masamula, Mkwanazi, Sibia?
Sibia, I worked with not very closely, but I heard a lot of stories about Sibia. I can't vouch on it because it's only stories, not good stories. Fani, Masemola, I was on a committee selected by President Ramaphosa to advise him on an appointment. The committee served under Sitting Mufmadi.
Yes.
Not long back. And from the candidates we assessed and had interviews with, because we had interviews with every one of them, Fani was by far the best. So we recommended Fani. I was very comfortable with Fani because he's coming from my days. And he was always a good cop. I never got the impression, and still today, I'm not of the opinion he's a crook.
But are you of the opinion that Sibia might be a crook?
I can't say that. I don't know him that well.
I see.
What I can say, I know Nhlanhla, Lucky. Lucky Nkwamazi from my days. He was a youngster, but he was always, I must tell you, the times I saw him, he was such a disciplined police officer. Punctual, neat, straightforward, underwent all the training possible to become a good public order policing man. He was in public order policing. He's a parachutist, well trained. He got intelligence training. I have only good words for Nhlanhla. So I think, obviously, none of us can vouch for everything he is saying. You know, I was not a personal witness, but many of the things he is saying is properly substantiated. You know, so I think in terms of the overweight of testimony, we have to believe Nhlanhla that there is a serious problem. Not only in the police service, but in the Department of Justice.
You had the support, Mr. Fivaz. You started by saying the political support of Mr. Mandela. But let us suppose you were in this situation Fanny Masemola finds himself in as the police commissioner, where the minister at the time, your minister would have been Steve Jewett.
It was Sidney Mufamadi.
Sidney Mufamadi.
Yeah.
Yes. If that was the case, Mufamadi would have been in this position where he disbands, let's say, a unit that was operating to disarticulate the Midlands killings.
Yeah.
And a police commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal takes a platform because they didn't get help from you, from Parliament. They are not getting help from internally in the police. And if Nhlanhla did what he did with those frustrations that he faced, would you as a police commissioner would have supported him?
I would have supported him all the way. But I think, you know, it's sort of prejudging Fanny Masemola. I think what should have happened, it should have been, and as far as I can see, it was reported to Fanny Masemola and nothing happened. It would never have happened in the time of Mandela. Never. You know, Doctor, I appointed a couple of people in my second year as commissioner, after I've consulted Sydney, because the Act is saying it's my responsibility.
Yes.
But after, not in consultation, after consultation with the minister. So I just have to inform the minister.
Yes.
And we had consensus. And I made the list known via the media. I appointed the people, finish and klar. And Sydney called me, and he was highly upset. He said, "Why did you do that?" I said, "Why not?" He said, "But you should have waited for me to say." I said, "No, there's no such a thing in law. I have the authority, but I informed you, didn't I?" He said, "Yes, but I'm now in trouble." But he was serious. He was cross with me.
Yes.
Because I haven't informed the ANC. There's a subcommittee I should have informed. I haven't. I said, "That's your problem. Not my problem."
Yeah.
Okay. And we were very cross about it. He said, "But you must never do it again." I said, "I'll do it again." And when I went back to my office, I got so angry. I picked up the phone. I phoned President Mandela. Fortunately, he was not there. But Jake Scherwel, his office manager, Professor Jake Scherwel, he was there. I said, Jakes, you just inform the president I'm resigning. He said, no, you can't do it. I said, I've decided I am not going to work with this man, Sydney. He wants to do my job. Not his job. If I allow him now to do it, I will be a stooge. He said, no, I can promise you the president is coming back now. I'm going to tell him, but he will not accept your resignation. I said, fine. But it was late Friday. So he informed him, and Madiba said, he was on his way abroad, I think. He said, I'll talk to him Monday. Just phone him and tell him I'll talk to him Monday. You shouldn't do stupid things. I can't talk to him now, but I want to talk to him personally Monday. In the meantime, the story that I'm resigning was leaked to the media. Now, the man that leaked it, I also have a very good suspicion who it is. It was actually confirmed later on by Sydney. He was in the office when I told Sydney I'm going to resign. Because after the call, I went back to Sydney. I said, I'm going to resign. And this man was sitting there. Okay. So he leaked it, and the Sunday morning, it was front page.
Did you reach for clip, drift, and coke here?
I was rich for more than that. It was front page. It was barely 10 minutes after that. Madiba phoned me out of London. He said, who leaked this story? I said, I don't know. He said, you can't tell me that. It's only you and myself. I spoke to Sydney. He said, it's not him. I said, but there was another man in the office. He said, I'm back in South Africa Wednesday. I want to see you and Sydney. Okay, the Wednesday coming. We went down to Cape Town. We saw him. Madiba was cross. He said, this is highly unethical. He believed it was George Fivaz that leaked the story.
Yes.
So after a long argument, he started to believe me that it could be the person that was in the office, and Sydney confirmed that. I can't mention his name because he is still
Alive.
Okay. But in any case, Madiba asked Sydney, but why were you fighting? He said, no, this has happened. I said, no, Mr. President, let me tell you what happened. This is what happened. This minister wants to interfere with my job. I'm going to respect his job. He's my political leader. He must give me political direction. I'll execute. But he can't tell me when to appoint people after we have reached consensus. I say, of course he can't. He can't. I said, Sydney, how old are you? He said, I think he was young that time, 38. Yeah, I was, I think, 50. He said, you better listen to the commissioner. You are still a youngster. you know, and that was the end of the story. That was the end of the story. He agreed with me, he supported me. Sydney never interfered in my job again. Never. And we are still buddies today, Sydney. I spoke to Sydney a while ago, a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact. We are still friends. We kissed and made up, and we started to respect one other's
So Sydney,
territory. You know,
Sydney kissed the Boer.
yeah, yeah. You see, and that is the long story, what I'm telling you. But the fact is,
Political influence not under my. What about the old man, TM?
Mr. Mbeki, I told today I have a good relationship.
Well, I can't say old man to you because you're possibly older than him.
He is older than me.
Oh, right, right.
He is older than me.
But you look older than him.
Yeah, that's why he was a politician. I was a servant.
You were doing the hard work.
I was doing the hard work.
Yeah.
He was behind the politics, the cozy cushions of politics.
Yes, yes.
You mustn't tell him. No, we had a good relationship. It was always only a pleasure. I think he had a lot of trust in me. I had a lot of trust in him. He supported me all the way as well. You know, I'm talking about now, why is it that Nhlanhla is going the way he did? He never had the right political support. And without hesitation, his commissioner that is now serving should have supported him better. That's my point. Because once again, the minister is not entitled to close units and to open units. It's not an authority of the minister. It's an authority of the commissioner to do that. You know, so if it's true that he decided to close the unit with the cooperation of Mary de Haas, then he was wrong.
Did O'Sullivan ever trouble you?
Who's that?
O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan.
I saw him threaten members of parliament.
He is a name dropper. He pretends to know George Fivaz. He doesn't know George Fivaz. Because I don't know him. I know him from one meeting. When I ended my contract, there was some news articles in Ireland that the United Nations are going to appoint me as interim commissioner in Ireland, which never happened because I refused to go. I rejected the offer. But it became known to him because he's an Irishman. Okay. He found my office and by means of a lie, he got an appointment with me. He said he wants to give me very important information. Now, at that time, he was in charge of the security of AXA, the airports company. So I said, no, the man can. He came, very first time I met him. He said, you know, I see you are going to become the Commissioner of Ireland. I said, no, there are rumors, but I've decided not to take up that job. I have a job because I was still serving. It was about 4 months before my contract ended. He said, but I just want to tell. I said, but Mr. O'Sullivan, why? Why are you interested in that? He said, no, I just want to tell you, if you don't take me with you, you're going to be dead in the water. I said, for what? He said, those people in Ireland will never accept you if I'm not going with you. I said, no, you don't have to worry to go with me because I'm not going. That's the last time I saw him. Maybe another time, if I can recall, in a lift, very briefly. Hello, Commissioner, he said to me, you see, I'm going to hang Jackie Chalebe. I said no, the lift opened and I walked out. So the man doesn't know me. I'm astonished that he's saying he's also well known to George Fivaz. I don't know him. What I'm reading, he's pretending to be the big forensic expert in South Africa. I don't know from where. I don't know what his qualifications are. I don't know. I don't even know for who Paul O'Sullivan is working. I listened to some of the gossiping that he was also involved when we recommended Fanny Msemola to the president. He never was involved. He was not near our committee. So I don't know what he's talking about. I think he's a blatant name dropper.
But to what end? What would he be seeking to achieve?
I think he's seeking attention. He's seeking to create this impression. I'm the big police expert. Which he's not. He's not a police expert. As far as I know. He worked for AXA. Yes, he was the head of airport security. But that doesn't make you a police expert. So I'm not quite sure whether, I don't know what the agenda of the man is. I'm seeing just, I told you about Nhlanhla Mngomane and my views about Nhlanhla.
Yes.
I see he's now also spitting it out. Nhlanhla is a crook. And that is so far removed from how I know Nhlanhla Mngomane. I really know the man, I think, better than he knows the man. But that's Paul O'Sullivan.
I want to shift to Eskom in the last 10, 15 minutes of our conversation. You were asked as well to do work of some investigatorial nature on Eskom. And I want to ask a very direct question about the energy problems of Eskom. Was there in any way a form of deliberate incapacitation of energy provision for the benefit of either private businesses, working in cahoots with politicians who just put Eskom in those problems in order to make some form of money?
You see, absolutely positive. We did an intelligence gathering exercise for Eskom, but not really with the money of Eskom. We were paid by private sector, by Business Leadership South Africa. That is known, so we were paid by business people. And I gave all the information to the Special Investigation Unit, and they were satisfied. It was straightforward to determine why is it that there is so much sabotage of the system in Eskom. And we uncovered two things. That is the manipulation of tenders to a huge scale, from the supply of coal to the supply of diesel to the supply of spare parts for generators and for boilers and whatever the case may be, and conveyor belts and what, to toilet paper. So huge racket. Now, who's behind this racket? We uncovered a couple of syndicates that are working with Eskom employees to manipulate and to cook the books and to generate money. There were politicians involved. Their names were mentioned in our report. The one passed away. I don't want to mention names now, because that's inappropriate. It was supposed to be a very confidential.
Was this report submitted, as you say, to the SIU?
Yeah, it was submitted to the Hawks and the SIU.
It does.
You see what happened, and people are now hiding behind the truth. I spoke to Andre de Ruyter, at that time the CEO of Eskom. I said, we are now busy with this thing. I think the appropriate thing to do is to inform the police. So inform Fanny Musemela, which he did. And Fanny decided to second a brigadier that is now retired. He appeared before the ad hoc, or Scopa. He appeared before Scopa. A man with the name of Jaap Burger. He worked with us, and obviously towards the end of our exercise, the police hasn't done their work. Because what they were supposed to do, we gather the intelligence, we pass it on to them, and then they convert it into evidence. You see, so doing that, trying to finger very specific individuals and build criminal cases against them. They haven't done that. And after the exercise, Jaap Burger testified, but the intelligence we gave them was useless. But it was different what Andy Mutibe from the SIU.
Yes.
And Godfrey Lebia from the police Hawks told me, he said, it's good intelligence, we are going to take it forward. And they gave it to special investigators, and most probably they are still busy with it. But what is very funny about this whole exercise? Everybody was against the fact that a private company is now gathering intelligence on Eskom. Okay. About a month ago, a tender was published where Eskom is asking private companies to tender for intelligence work, exactly what we have done in Eskom, as an open project.
But are some of these politicians highly placed in the cabinet? You don't have to tell me the name.
Yeah, they are.
There are people in this cabinet who were part of Eskom sabotage.
In this cabinet.
And is the president aware of these allegations? Is the president aware?
Yeah, yes.
The media, when they write, Mr. Fivaz, they will say there are allegations against Mr. They don't say you are guilty.
No.
Can't you use that language for me and say there are serious allegations pointing at cabinet member X, Y?
No, I'm not going to mention names.
Okay.
I'm not going
Was
to.
the report falsified?
But the report and my conversations with the Hawks and the SIU, we have clarity about who are the people. And, people are dying. Because we are getting old. What I want to tell you, I informed Praveen Gordon in detail. As a matter of fact, I gave him a document. With our main findings, with the names in it, of all the people. He promised me he will discuss it with the president. He came back to me later on. He said he discussed it with the president. So that is why I'm saying people are hiding behind the truth. It was duly reported.
When was the investigation, which period was the investigation looking at?
It was not really confined to a period.
I see.
It was,
but would it have dealt with the massive sabotage in relation to massive load shedding?
Yeah, it was in relation to that. It was to determine why are conveyor belts regularly broken.
And you discovered
And we
that it
uncovered,
was sabotage.
we uncovered it was sabotage because low-grade coal was delivered to Eskom and it was accepted. It was loaded on the conveyor belts into the boilers, crushers, and which broke down the crusher, for instance, or the conveyor belt. And then certain companies would have been on emergency basis appointed to come and do the repairs. Millions, but millions of rands on that basis. I'm just mentioning one example. Now, low-grade coal, we uncovered that the coal mafia was responsible for intercepting trucks coming from mines on their way to Eskom, taking them or redirecting them into illegal coal yards, which is still existing, dropping the good coal, loading the truck with rubbish, going back to the route, delivering the coal to Eskom. That was all in the report. It was a matter of one.
And it pointed to the coal mafia, who the coal mafia is, and which politicians they are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And Pravin did nothing about.
Pravin told me he informed the president. I don't know whether he informed the president. He confirmed to me later on, because he asked for a small, a concise report, as he called it. I gave him a concise report. So he was well aware. He was in a meeting when Jaap Burger, the man I mentioned, and some of my people were present, where we briefed him in detail. As a matter of fact, on a projector, slideshow, show him exactly how the we called it a building map. We build a chart. Who are the ringleader? Who are the other people lower down? Who are the
and these people, Mr. Fivaz, are still active?
I'm quite convinced they are still acting or active. I'm convinced. I think they are still there. You know what I'm hearing from some of my colleagues that worked on the project? They're saying the corruption is still continuing in Eskom. They cut masts. They deliberately destroyed high valuable equipment. They ordered equipment for stuff that is not broken, that are so-called replaced and have to be replaced. That was the only thing that remained. We as a private company can't confiscate documents. So that's why I said the police must get on board so that we can apply for Section 205 warrants so that we can go and take the documentation from Eskom. It was never done. And when the popo hit the fan, at the beginning of, or at the end of the project, most of the documentation was not available because I was in contact with Godfrey de Beer, the chief of the Hawks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fivaz. Do you want to say something about the appointment of the new police commissioner? I mean, the NPA head. Do you think in the...
I must tell you, I don't know him so well. What I experienced during this Eskom investigation from his side is a very objective guy. I have faith in him. I think he's the right man. That's my opinion. I think he's a good man, but you know what remains a problem?
Mm.
You can appoint whoever you want as the chief prosecutorial authority in South Africa. If you don't do the investigation work properly, like I told you about the backlogs at Forensic Science Laboratory and whatever the case may be, these people are sitting with their hands in the air. They can't do anything with a police docket if it's not properly investigated. So the criminal justice system as a whole must be, in my opinion, revamped. And it's possible. It's not rocket science.
Yes.
It's a couple of basic things that have to be rectified to get it working again.
Okay. Baie dankie.
Okay, Kia Libovan.
Ek kan nie mooi Afrikaans praat nie, maar I'm very, very happy.
Ja, but you are
Bly. Ek is baie bly.
Ja.
Baie dankie.
Ja.
I mean, it looks like you are a cricket buddy of Madiba.
Yeah,
I never got to sit with Madiba like this.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was my dad. He was my dad, fortunately for me. He had a lot of confidence in me, and I had a lot of confidence in him. So that's why we have succeeded to do the job properly. And I'm just hoping, before Fanny Musamela, I one day spoke to Setole, Kethla Setole.
Yes.
And I said, Kethla, you're not looking well in terms of performance. He said, but it's the politics. I said, but why the politics? He said, no, the ministers are interfering in my job. I can't do my job. I said, but you must stop it. And I told him the story about myself and Sydney.
Yes.
There must be consensus between the minister and the police commissioner not to interfere with police operational issues and to support the commissioner. And to give political direction. That is important. Of course it's important. We are in a democracy. But in my opinion, there is just too much political interference in the day-to-day work of the police service. People that are being appointed on the instruction of politicians, promoted on the instruction of politicians, and that type of thing. That is poisoning the police service, I think. Yeah, okay, just to say thank you for your time as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Dankie by die tyd van jy. Let's take I can Afrikaans praat nie. I'm from a generation where Afrikaans must fall. And I think it was a wrong position anyway. Now that I'm a little older, I think it was not correct.